happening, everyone? I was going to start at a little bit later, but I got off shift early today, so thought I would, in between eating a double quarter pounder with cheese and drinking down a delicious iced tea or Pepsi, and go between those two, my favorite beverage, I guess. Just thought I'd come to you and tell you that PulseChain hasn't launched yet. Hasn't launched yet. So PulseChain hasn't launched yet. So I guess we'll just keep doing the same thing we do every day and prepare ourselves, remaining calm, enjoying life, perhaps preparing for the future. So when the future does get here, we're not like, oh no, I wish I would have did that thing. You don't have to say that. That sentence will not be repeated if you do that thing now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I haven't used McDonald's background for a while, so I thought I'd use it. There was an epic one with Orca. The McDonald's, type in RHMax McDonald's episode. That was a pretty funny one, where I was like in character and everything too. It's pretty fun. Anyways, welcome. You see I'm still in high spirits because I don't have expectations. Check it out. Boom. I haven't worn this shirt for a while either. I don't happen to have expectations, so I don't happen to get those disappointments. What's up, Red Squirrel and D Hex TA? That's a lot of different things going on in the name. 6961. Yes. What's up, everyone around the world? Spike, what's happening? Crypto Compassion. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Milson Greasley. Hey, bro, appreciate your work. Need interviews explaining USDL strategy on up tokens. Survive 90% market dip. So that's what's got me interested about Tetra too. A lot of these automating some of the different DeFi strategies. I know UpToken, I believe, automates the haunted strategy or automates someone. It has to do with the haunted strategy. We'll say that. Actually, I haven't caught up with it for a while, but it's interview explaining it. Well, I don't know who would do the interview. Let me know who would. So I know Neil for T-Shares. I think he's did a video on UpToken and also obviously a lot of Tetra stuff. I'd love to have Neil back on. I actually invited him to I'll try to invite him again in case he didn't get the last message, to the open mic on the 15th. So yeah, I would love to have him back on to talk all things Tetra and DeFi strategies and all that stuff too. So it should be good. The Spook, what's happening? Yo. PMS squared. What's happening, man? Look forward to your stream. Well, you were here. You are, I didn't tweet about this. I didn't put it in Telegram. I should probably put it in the PulseDev Telegram because those people in there are actually the ones that were talking about all these problems. Actually, let me do that real quick because I feel like that's going to be more ROI in case people are struggling with something. So give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I've returned and I am technically on shift and I'm not supposed to be doing this, corporate policy or whatever, but I think I can go over some validator stuff while I'm talking to you guys because Jimmy's got the register right now. You can't see him. He's on the other side. We kind of closed a couple registers to make sure I could live stream from work. So I think we got it covered. Manager's out today. Gotta love it, right? You can get by with stuff like that. Super fun. Umberto, what's happening, man? Sunny Miami. Are you going to the Hexpo down there? I imagine you were going. We're going to be around there, so that should be fun. I will be there along with a lot of other hexagons and stuff. PM Square just staked 15,000 hex coins. Smart move. Well, that is literally the most personal decision you could possibly make with your own money. One of them at least. So I love staking. I love getting copies of stakes. And I think Hex is one of those beautiful systems that a lot of people aren't going to treat it like that in the short term. And they may be surprised at what they find out, especially PulseChain launches and going to the bear market or bull market and stuff like that. Hopefully don't go to another bear. We cannot do another bear if we don't do a bull. That's not how that works. Unless meteor, right? So that's going to be fun. But man, the T-shares, 5, 10, 15 years from now, what we got? Another 4 years until the first 5555s come up in principle. We'll see if people continue or do they end stake. What's that going to be in 2026 or something like that? 2026, 2027. It's going to be interesting. So, Amir, what's happening? Andromedus, what's up? I think it's Telegram link. It is. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. T.me. It's not my channel. It's just the one that a lot of people are asking questions in. I'll put both of them. T.me such that. And then, what is it? Is it just Gamma GevOps? It's the other one, Gamma's channel too. So these two are the ones that a lot of people doing validator stuff hang out in. And a lot of questions are asked and answered and all that stuff. So yeah, check that out if you're into Telegram. You think we'll have one-sided staking pool for a PLSX? Like at launch, I guess? I don't know. I hope so. That seems like an important thing. Could you launch without it? Sure. But it'd be cool if you did to get the farms and onboarding and all the token people juices flowing, that'd be cool. So I assume you mean at launch. I hope so, but I don't think it's critical either. I just asked a question about this too. I'll bring it up in case anyone has some information about it. I asked, is there a list of new projects on PulseX to be farmed? Yeah, launching. I mean, maybe that's why we don't have a list yet, because there's nothing there yet. So it's kind of hard for them to know if they're launching or not. So yeah, maybe that's why we don't know much about it, because it's not there for them to even test it out and see if they want to use that as a distribution method. I don't know, but that would be cool. Let me go over to our PulseChain Validator repo, where you yourself can become a PulseChain Validator and ask me questions about doing that. And yesterday's stream, I actually got some good feedback from Jim. And I thought I had some information in here that I didn't. And then I also wanted to, should I put this in all caps? I feel like I should. Actually, I'm going to make it now and put it in all caps. Put for running the script in all caps. Seems to get people's attention, because after you run the script, you need to do this stuff, and then also added this stuff about the environment, hardware options, how to do it, the different ways. I guess I could bold these two. Working on the wiki in real time. Well, sort of making notes about it. I'll do it afterwards. So afterwards, you basically need 3 steps. So you generate your keys on a secure machine. You copy them over and import them. And then once your client is synced, very important, unless you want to get risk penalties and stuff, then make your deposit so you can participate. Boom, boom, bang. All right. That's scary off stream. No, you do not. I've been trying to, because I've been streaming every day. I'm like, it's a lot of work to create the thumbnail. I didn't even add the thumbnail. I have the thumbnail, but I forgot to add it. It's a lot of work to create the thumbnails, set up the stream in StreamYard, tweet it, put it in Telegram channels, blah, blah, blah. So I thought at least I would put it in the main channels where a lot of people would be interested in asking validator questions and stuff. I'm the 10th like. Hit it. Who unchecked the like? Did somebody unlike for a moment? Is that when I went off to go to Telegram? You got to watch what you do. There can't be any moments of silence where people, they may show their, they may vote with their likes, right? Instead of voting with your money, you vote with your like button. You kind of do. But it'd be funny if like that was the standard. I don't know if that was the standard. I think a lot of streamers would be in trouble. A lot of moments of silence when you're doing live streams from time to time. It's almost like you have to think sometimes. But, you know, if you're chat, you're like, you tend to be very more, much more demanding when you're chat versus when you're the streamer. Let's see. What'd you say? Not many. 60. Not sure we're talking about on that PM squared. I want to say PMS squared every time. PM squared. Talking about the minimum stake lengths and stuff. Yeah, more T-shares, longer pays better, bigger pays better, all that stuff. Yes, Hexhodl says use the calculator. A lot of good sites over there. Adrian said, can you have penalties for desync while running a validator? When you say desync, are you saying not being synced? Because I think the penalties are, and I lived this because I was like in the early days, I was activating my validator and just being like, it's fine, which it was on testnet and really on mainnet. Honestly, if you go offline for a little bit, is there like some measurement? It's very small. I don't know what, maybe it's a percentage, maybe it's a set amount, but it's very small. So you gotta be offline for quite a while and not participating to get to really rack up the penalties. And you're probably gonna make them back in fees anyways, right? So of course, incentivized to be on the network and do it, but it's not, you know, if you need to go offline to do a backup or an upgrade or whatever, then I wouldn't stress too much about it. Just I think the best thing to do is put yourself in a position where you have a strong foundation, you have everything set up correctly, you know, you have all your updates on your machine. I have scripts to help you with all this. Like I'm very particular when I set up new servers. Like I want to make sure I don't have to go back and reboot and change anything. So that's why I'm like new server helper. Like, you know, I use this and stuff to set the new host name, to do the updates, to reboot. Before I even do anything with a validator, I use this script or I do these commands manually to make sure all my ducks in a row, we got a good foundation to set up on. And then afterwards, you know, you can run the script and then update the clients. A lot of people, if you haven't seen this is how you can update the clients. And of course, to update the clients, you have to go offline for a little bit, right? So that's another thing. Validators are going to have some downtime from time to time because you need to do updates, or maybe you need to move servers, or just you want to avoid it, you know, as much as possible. That's all. So I'll scroll up here. Oh, I should probably add some more AMAs to this thing, but these are like the top ones, I guess. Walkthroughs. So if you're just tuning in and you're like, I don't know how any of the scripts work, then use these. Go to walkthrough. I literally have video walkthroughs of the script and how it works. I explain it and all that good stuff. And here's all the highlights of stuff that is within the repo, either scripts to do all the stuff or guidance itself and commands. All right, going down the chat. Some good Hex conversations happening. Thank you, Hexhodl, for addressing PM squared there. How can we check or know if it already started final syncing? Great question. I have guidance for you, sir. So if you go to debugging, you can check the blockchain sync process on Geth. So again, I don't have any data for Prism or Aragon because all my scripts use Geth and Lighthouse. And that's what, you know, that's what I'm set up to do. So copy this command, copy that over, run this, and then this will tell you where you're at and where you want to be. And so like the delta between is how much more you got to go. Current block, highest block. And then for, some more stuff here. And then for Lighthouse, you can check the health And you can like see if you have no peers, that's a problem, right? You gotta be able to connect to other peers and validators around the network. So if you're not syncing, that could be a problem, a little bit of troubleshooting. And then if you do this, it'll tell you, whether they're good or not. There's also a false. Yeah. So for this one, it'll tell you whether it's still syncing or not. So if it's false, that means, well, either you have a major problem or you're already synced. So that's your debugging. Great question. Like if you lose internet, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I think you're going to more than make up for it with fees. That's what I believe I'm going to do anyways. A good question. Thanks for answering. So that's what I like about having these AMAs, because people come and, especially if you come and ask questions, even if they're simple questions that I have a simple answer to, and it's good for other people to see that, learn. They come back over it, maybe they're thinking the same thing, or maybe they learn something, they pick something else to make everything, to put the pieces together better. So that's why I like these questions. Like, I'll answer simple, direct questions all day. The advanced questions are fine too, but simple ones help me show you what's on the wiki too, because I wrote it. I have that bias of like, I don't know what people are looking for all the time. So when you ask questions, then I know what you're looking for. I can help direct you there. I meant single staking pool at Pancake has stake your cake to earn more cake. Well, we're forking Pancake Swap V2, so, but with this, I don't think you can earn more PLS. I think it's all farming. I think you earn it in another coin. Again, we don't have the feature to test it out, but I believe the ideal is that you only farm. You stake your coins to earn like the community coins and stuff. As far as I know, could change. Who knows? Maybe one day I guess on the show. Maybe so. As Naval says, proof of work. I think that's a good way to think about it too. Well, I have open mic, so feel free to come by on the 15th. But in general, it's like, if the question is how do I select guests to be on the show? As Naval says, one of my favorite people to follow, Naval Ravikant, I need to get a meeting with him. He says you need proof of work. So if you start producing some amazing stuff in the community where people can't ignore you, they have to acknowledge, whoa, that's some great stuff. That's how I find out, like guests. I find people on YouTube are producing great content. They got like 500 subs or something. I'm like, hey, you're producing great content. Come on the show. Anyways, if you want to come on the show and you don't have any proof of work or amazing stuff to show me, you can still come on. We got a community stream, and I'm sure you got some, maybe you haven't published it yet. Maybe you got some other awesome stuff to share and things to contribute. So feel free. Next open mic, I try to have them about once a month or so. It's on May 15th around 7 o'clock Eastern. And I will drop a StreamYard link in the chat, and you can come on, and you got to have your camera on. That's the only thing. If I don't know you, I just ask you to turn your camera on just to keep accountability, keeps the spam down. Not saying you would do anything bad, but I would prefer that. So. Austin G with password.txt saved on hard drive, positive keys for insecurity risk. Yeah. Well, so first of all, I don't provide tech support for any other people's scripts other than mine, because most of the other ones use Docker and stuff too, and I know how to use Docker, but my script doesn't. So it's hard for me to even like debug some of that stuff because I haven't did it 1,000 times. I haven't ran it 1,000 times like I have mine, for example. But that's a great question. So the password file. So it's interesting. Prism, you have a password file on there. And then with Lighthouse, you don't. But I believe the password is still in config somewhere because it still, it still needs to do stuff with it. So as far as I understand, I haven't really went into technicals. But anyways, Lighthouse has the same thing in a different location, let's assume. So the question is whether the password file is a risk. So I went over this in Security AMA about what happens if your validator gets hacked. What do you need to take care of? What do you need to understand? So essentially, there should be no other local users on your validator. This should only be the validator user and maybe your admin user that you use, and that's it. Roots, the default account's always on there, but we'll forget about that for a moment. So even if someone got to your password.txt or they got to your key store, all that stuff, the worst they could do is, pretend to be you, maybe try to mess up the network, and you get slashed, right? Other network people be like, hey, that's not right. You get slashed. They can denial of service, take your validator offline. They can cause you those problems. But unless you put your seed words on your validator server, which you should never do, they shouldn't even be generated on there. Your seed words are separate from your validator keys. Validator keys are on your validator, more than likely, because you got to use an import, and they stay on there anyways because they're imported in the Lighthouse. Essentially, they're there one format or another. And your seed words are kept very safe. Seed words equals money. Validator keys equals validator running. Think about it like that. So if somebody hacks your validator, or they get your password file, or they get to your key store, whatever. First of all, they don't have your password, or they shouldn't, at least, that you set up your key store password. So your key store password and your seed words should be nowhere near your validator. Only time you even need to use the password is when you import the validator keys, and if you want to exit the network and withdraw. It's the only two things I can think of. So if your seed words equals your money, and everything else only equals your validator not working very well or going offline, whatever, then you can understand the risk, right? So unless I have your seed words, you're not going to lose your money. And if they are on if an attacker gets on your server and they get access to password or whatever anyways, if they're on your server at all, you can just assume that they have full access, because there's different ways to escalate privileges and all that stuff. So that you treat it two separate things. Like, you treat it as worst case, validator goes offline. I need to restore my snapshot. I need to restore my backups. I need to get them off my network. That's separate from losing your money. So I hope that makes sense. Yes. Very welcome. I'm not sure if you're talking to me or Hexodl. Hexodl was helping out too, but he seems to be a wizard in a lot of things as well. Mr. Chuck, if PLS implements any of the future ETH EIPs as PIPs, I like PIPs, will the validators have to update their nodes individually? Good question. So as far as I know, for example, for Shanghai, right, we updated our clients. So I assume, yeah, a lot of the updates for the network would come from the nodes, the validators and stuff participating in it. They all need to agree. They all need to be on the same page, blah, blah, blah. So validators, yeah, you have to use my update script, or if you use my script to install everything, or manually update it or otherwise. So yeah, there will be some downtime. Every once in a while, there'll be a downtime, but it's not like the entire network is going to go down. It's going to be staggered, right? Like, I don't even think you need to coordinate. And the dev team's always going to have some running too, probably. You could assume that as well. So yes, the answer to the question is yes, but it's not a concern if you were going that direction. Let me know if there's some other nuance there. I might be wrong, but it seems like stablecoins, USDC, do not behave as stablecoins on PulseChain, not pegged to USD. You are correct. There is nothing backing them. They're not redeemable. They're only copies that may or may not be worth anything. I've joked that USDC may become USD cent. So maybe people will hold it as maybe the market will decide it's worth 1 penny and back it for that. I don't think the stablecoins will probably come from Liquid Loans, come from Power City, and come from Xerox Coast. Sounds like they're going to have the on-ramp for us too. So we'll have probably 2 or 3 different stable coins on PulseChain, regardless of what comes over and has value or has not value. And we never know. We'll see if RH launches a stable coin. Never know. Of course, Franklin. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That makes sense. Austin G. Can I put unplugged dad in timeout? Oh, Jerry, you're fun. If he's misbehaving, feel free. What's up, Hex? Or sorry, Crypto Explained. God, I didn't even get Third time. Let's do this. Crypto Hexplained. Huge shout out to you. Amazing work, you and Scott Foster Harris. You guys are doing some great videos over there. Well-deserved retweet from Richard, and all the love and stuff there. So appreciate your all's work, and smooth voice that Scott Foster Harris has, and whoever's writing the scripts, very intelligent, very good at call it copywriting. I don't know if it's outside of sales, do you still call it copywriting? Storytelling, narrative telling. Makes sense, Mr. Chuck? Cool. All right. Well, let me know if y'all have any more questions. I'm just gonna, let's check on Richard. You tweet anything? Anything crazy happen? I feel like every few hours I got to check it just to be like, I either check Twitter to see if anything's going nuts, or I check a live stream to see if anyone's like got Twitter pulled up on the live stream, or I check his Twitter. No, nothing crazy. Is it the calm before the storm? Never know. Never know, but it does feel close. So we will find out. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. If you haven't watched me streaming lately, I did a lot of streams about a lot of stuff. I almost want to just go through my channel real quick and be like, just tell you which ones to go for what information that I'm not talking about today. Because I did 2 a day. I did 2 a day for the last 3 days. I'm not doing 2 a day today, unless PulseChain launches, something crazy happens. I'm not getting on stream another time today. I got plans to relax, and I don't like getting on late either because I try to use my evening for relaxed time. I got enough to do a PulseChain launch plan number 3. I'll probably do that. If it doesn't launch tomorrow, no. I could do that in the afternoon maybe, or the early. I got Mad Gains Mindset with cryptographics tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, which can be fantastic, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll do another launch plan part 3 to wrap everything up, either tomorrow or Thursday. What's up, Crypto Bigfoot? Of course. Tell you, utility recognizes utility. You guys doing some great work over there. How's your McDonald's shift? Well, as you can tell, it's not over. So I've been trying my best to make sure the fryer is working okay. I got Jimmy in the back taking care of register and running back and forth on hamburgers and all the stuff they pretend they pretend it's food. Never know. Work at McPulse. McPulse. Be funny. Yeah, you want to recap? Okay, I'll do a recap. Second. Progress with Paleo. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw you, man. What's the best validator information provider? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'm not sure if you're saying correctly either, because I don't know what that means off the top of my head. Information provider. Are you saying people who talk about validator stuff? Because I would throw my hat in the ring for that. It's my 13th AMA. Of course, Dama GevOps, David Feeder, TDS Lane, also known as something else. But he has a lot of great scripts. Very professional, very cool. Are you talking about different clients to use? You know, between Lighthouse and Prism and Geth and Ergon. Like GAF, the app we have to install after validator's up. Oh, Grafana. Okay, information provider. I got you now. Okay, yeah. So I have a script for you, bud. So I wrote an automatic setup deal. Where is it? Why am I not seeing this? Am I just not seeing this? Oh, maybe it's not on the, no, here, setup monitoring. There we go. So I'm monitoring.setup and reset in case you want to remove it, but you got to use my script. So if you set up your validator, all these scripts kind of depend on each other. So if you set up a validator with my scripts, Then you want to set up Grafana and Prometheus, which is your graphs, your metrics, your data flow. Prometheus is like the engine, Grafana is the web UI. Think about it like that. Then you run the scripts, and then afterwards, you get access to it somehow. This is one way. This is like the most secure way. Information you can read about that to understand why all that. And afterwards, you just install your dashboard. And there's a pretty cool dashboard. Probably the best one is this one, I think. Yeah, that's the. I should probably bold that too. That's like the best one that gives you a lot of the information you're looking for. It's been forked to work from ETH to Pulse now. So yeah, you run that. And then here's the script monitoring setup. And it's got information here as well. But yeah, it does everything for you. Again, you got to use my setup script to do this because it modifies stuff specifically that I use in the setup script with the services. It adds metrics, flags, and all that stuff. So if you want to automate it as much as possible, then my scripts, you could use them and they work off each other. There you go. Cool. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, and then I'll do a recap real quick because I think it's useful because I went through so much information, so many streams in the last few days that literally this is the 7th stream in the last 4 days. So I've covered a lot of other stuff. So map gains. So yesterday is about prepping for mainnet. So that's like I went over, I had a tweet that talks about a lot of that stuff. Let's see if I can find it real quick and I'll throw it up there. This guy tweets a lot, huh? Yeah, so I basically went over that tweet. The whole process of what I'm doing. And then yesterday, yeah, amazing stream with Axis and Jugung. So that was more about PulseChain stuff and Hex as well. And then the 10 projects deal, that's when I went over Hex, PulseX, Hedron, Icosa, Watsa, Maximus ecosystem, Liquid Loans, Power City, Fiat, Tetra. And then as bonuses, I went over Weight and the Pulse Doge, Pulse Bitcoin stuff as the projects that I'm watching and I think are interesting for the ecosystem in some way. And then as you validate running, I think that was just I forget what I covered in that, just a bunch of AMA stuff. And the launch plan is I talk about a bunch of different scenarios, and I have a tweet on it somewhere too. Let's see. I get tired of scrolling. Also hungry. I'm gonna eat soon. Yeah, so I'll go over this and a bunch of other scenarios too, different launch plan stuff. And this was more talking of some of the basics going from testnet to mainnet, some of the stuff I need to update the script for it to work and stuff as well. This was part 1 of what I just talked about as far as launch plan stuff. 2 parts, may do a 3rd part in the next couple of days if I'm going to do a stream other than AMA. I'll probably be doing validator AMAs. I don't want to say every day, but that is like if I have 30 minutes to an hour free in the morning, I'll try to do it. And then did reading crypto Twitter live, which was basically just reading Twitter stuff. It's kind of not super evergreen content, just kind of like reading Twitter and explaining, kind of like me sitting there reading Twitter, but I was reading it live and explaining what I think of different people's talking about different stuff on Twitter and different PulseChain stuff mostly. Then securing your nodes, number 9, very important. I have a separate video on it as well on the channel that I clipped out, but this tells you how to secure your Ethereum PLS node and a bunch of different Linux stuff and a lot of good advice there. And this was withdrawals. Yeah, so I talked about withdrawals here. Yeah, it was 6 days ago, and then we had wealth mindset, which is pretty great too. So, and then walk through the scripts, and I got a lot of those links too. So, there's your walkthrough. And let me drop this in the chat in case people want to just click on it. You can go straight to the GitHub. Whose dashboard for Grafana is the best term showing data? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. let me, I should highlight this to, I didn't click on it. You can also set up email alerts. I haven't did this, but I put a link in here if you want to set up email alerts about, hey, my validator is doing this or that. Do that. So this one, so let me do some magic here and get to the actual repo. So this is the dashboard. This seems to be one of the ones that was kind of broken from ETH, and then this gentleman here, shout out to Raskatama, who fixed it and shows you a bunch more stuff. May not show you everything, and it takes like a day or two. So don't be, if you import it, don't be like, oh, it's not working. It could take, a day or two for it to actually start populating data. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Motley says, after initiating withdrawals for validators, how long does it take your Pulse jump in your wallet? Yeah, that's a good question, man. Feeder was saying that it was pretty quick, but I think mine's still trying to go. So it's funny. I'm like, I followed the process and everything seems to be fine. But yeah, I don't know if it's quicker than that, because it says by a certain epoch, it should initiate the process. But again, it's testnet. Maybe, maybe stuff is not working so frictionlessly on testnet. I don't know. I wouldn't have any concerns on mainnet for that. But yeah, it should show up within 48 hours, I would say. But you can maybe ask Feeder on that, because he recently tweeted about it going through and all that. So maybe it's longer. Maybe it's like 3 or 4 days. Good question. I like how you organize data, David's under pressure. Your script was only for AWS setup. No, it's not at all. Yeah, you can use it. I've only tested it on AWS, but it's like, it's a server. You have a server. There's not a big difference. It's not like, as long as you're using Ubuntu 22.04, that's, you can use that on AWS. You can use that at home. That's what a lot of people are using. That's what we're kind of standardizing on, at least right now, it seems like. That's what all the support is. If you use a different Ubuntu version, people are going to be like, it's good to use the version everyone else is using if you want to have better support and stuff. And it's definitely not for AWS. You can use it on your own hardware. You can use it on anything. It does use, so his script / commands instructions do use Docker, and mine doesn't, but it doesn't really, it's 2 different ways of doing it, but they accomplish the same thing. Like at the end, there's no to me, at least in my opinion, there's no better or worse. It's kind of like just 2 different ways of doing it, either containerized or not. So. All right, everyone. I think 40 minutes, get pretty hungry here. I'm going to head off, go back to my shift, maybe grab a double cheeseburger or 2, and keep putting in the work until PulseChain launches, right? All right. Yeah, if you need follow-up or anything, DM me, hit me up on Telegram. No promises. I'm not on Telegram very often, and I don't have a lot of one-on-one times for support and stuff like that, but I will try to get it going. And yeah, Scivive and 5555. We are out.